Hey everybody, Chris Bober here with the Bober Academy, and welcome back to our weekly edition of From Pain to Performance with Midwest Movement. Of course, it's sponsored by Midwest Movement in Elkhorn. Be sure to go to midwestmovementelkhorn.com for any and all information about getting your athlete back on the field. And as a reminder, if you're listening to this on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you find your podcast, be sure to click the subscribe button. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the little button down there that says subscribe, and also get notifications by clicking the little bell. So again, we're here with Nolan Clausen, the proprietor at Midwest Movement. Nolan is going to talk about shoulder pain today. So Nolan, tell us what's going on with shoulders.
Okay, so shoulder pain, very common, right? Some of the most common injuries that we hear of are rotator cuff tears, labrum tears, things like that. And just overall, just shoulder pain and shoulder weakness comes with that a lot. So basically today I want to go over how we screen for it, what we're looking for, and kind of our ideas of how we can treat a shoulder. And then we'll show you some exercises that we believe can help get rid of some of your shoulder pain, but also do a lot in prevention. So if you don't have shoulder pain, this is also really, really good for understanding and preventing shoulder pain. So first off, I got a beautiful drawing up here done by myself. It might be a little hard to see, but basically right here we have the shoulder blade right there. And these are our ribs or our spine on that side. This is the shoulder or the arm bone right here. So what we're talking about a lot of times when we talk about having rotator cuff tears, there are 4 muscles that hold that shoulder together so that we can do all these ranges of motion and that shoulder joint stay in socket, right? The shoulder joint is like, think about it, a golf ball and a golf tee. It's not very stable, but it allows a lot of range of motion. So the rotator cuff muscles are designed to hold that joint in socket. The labrum is also like the gasket that goes around that joint to keep it suctioned or keep it stable also. So what we see a lot is we have people that have rotator cuff tears or labrum tears and things like that. And they're very common, but I also don't believe that they're as commonly needed to go get surgery for. We hear about a lot of surgeries on those, and research shows us that basically a good rehab program to a rotator cuff tear is better than or has better outcomes than surgery itself with that rehab program. So what that just tells us is we got to get the shoulder stronger so that they survive a little bit more.
I had teammates, and I have some shoulder. I never had to have surgery and anything like that, but I've had friends who've had shoulder injuries, and it's about 50-50 which one go and just actually have it done through rehab. And the ones who do that usually have pretty good results. If it's like mid-season, they might have to brace it a little bit.
Right.
But just a really hectic rehab program, which I've been a part of as well.
Yeah.
But then the ones that have shoulder surgery, I mean, that's like a year to recover, especially at the highest level where I was at. It's a tough surgery.
Yeah. There's an interesting study out there right now where they took half of the people that needed surgery and they put them on the same rehab or prehab protocols, went and had surgery. The other half, they did the same rehab, prehab protocol. They didn't actually get the repair. They just did like the little cuts right here. And then they saw them basically like 8 months out. And the ones that didn't have surgery had better outcomes than the ones that had surgery. So, and that just goes to show you rehab's really, really good. And it's come a long ways. So one of the things that we talk about with the shoulder though, is we say it's like shooting a cannon out of a canoe if you don't have good strength in the shoulder blade muscles, right? So meaning if this shoulder blade doesn't work really, really well and those muscles aren't very strong, then it's like this is the canoe and our joint is the cannon. And every time we shoot that cannon, it's going to rock the crap out of our, excuse my poor language, but rock the crap out of the the shoulder joint, and this becomes less effective. But if we can build an aircraft carrier right here, then we can make this really, really effective tool. A cannon will be really, really good. So Blake's going to come over here, and we're just going to kind of go through how we would assess somebody that would have some of this shoulder pain. So typically, somebody that has rotator cuff tear or labrum tear, if they're up overhead, try to relax, and we do this motion, they are not going to like it. It's called a crank test, and that crank test is designed to put a lot of stress there. So that's first off. If we have that, then we know that we're probably dealing with something in there. But first, we like to have Blake just go arms out to the side, and we want to assess his motion up overhead, and we want to see if he has pain. Blake, did you have pain in that shoulder?
Yeah.
Going up? Okay, so Blake actually has shoulder pain going on right now, so this is a really good example. So if he had shoulder pain doing that, now we're going to take away half his body part, and he's just going to go up overhead with his arms bent. Good. Did that get better?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. So what that tells us is basically his arm is just not, or his shoulder is just not strong enough to withstand that extra weight of his arm out. Now he's going to go full arm, but I'm going to take the place of his shoulder muscles that we were talking, the shoulder blade muscles. So he's going to go up overhead. Did that help?
Yeah.
Good. Go back down. So what that tells us is if we just work on these shoulder blade muscles right here, his shoulder pain is going to get better, even though we don't touch the actual shoulder complaint, right? So this is also really good for rehab. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call a scapular band walk exercise. So he's going to grab a mini band. Just a second. So a stretchy mini band that's kind of like a loop. You can get these anywhere. You can get them on Amazon, Shields, everywhere. But basically, he's going to take that band and he's going to try to spread that band apart and try to keep his elbows together and get in contact with the wall. So what he's doing is he's going to push his chest back away from the wall using his elbows, and then he's going to walk his shoulder or his elbows and hands up. Good. And he's going to go back down. He could tell you right now that he has a ton of work going on in these shoulder blade muscles, right? So we're trying to build aircraft carriers. So he is going to go up and down, basically to fatigue. He's just going to fatigue these muscles a bunch. If we do sets and reps, I don't like it because sets and reps, people just hammer through them, go back down, go back down. They don't worry about that feel. Blake can tell you right now he's burning up quite a bit.
He's hurting, man.
Yep. So if you were doing that exercise and he felt a lot of that pain in that shoulder while he was doing that exercise, he needs to get that band spread apart a little bit more. Okay. So that's a really, really good rehab, but also a very, very good preventative care exercise. So we're going to retest his shoulder now. So he's going to go up overhead. Good. And back down. Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So that just is a quick test and retest. Basically, that just lets us know that if we work on his shoulder or scapular muscles, the shoulder blade muscles, we are going to get this shoulder better, and we're going to protect it a little bit better. Another tip that I have for a lot of these athletes that are in the weight room on a daily basis, pretend this is your weight bar. I see a lot of grips with the thumb right here. What we know with research is that if we wrap that thumb and we squeeze that bar really good, we get a ton of activation of those shoulder joint muscles, and they're going to be more stable. They activate more. But when we get right here, we basically don't have as much activation. It's a quick neurological thing that our body does. You don't see a lot of monkeys swinging from rope to rope with their hands like this. They wrap their thumbs. That's the reason we have opposable thumbs. So,
and that should make you stronger too. If you're activating more muscles, it should improve your bench press, right?
Absolutely. Pull-ups, bench press, deadlifts, all those things.
All right. So if someone has shoulder pain, the first thing to do is to come in and get it diagnosed, right? You said probably the beginning of it is to come to someone like you, and you're going to give them a basic diagnosis. Then if you find major trauma or something like that, you would probably send them off for maybe like an MRI or something like that.
Right. Yep. Even if I'm not going to advocate that, even if you have rotator cuff tear on an MRI and you're a surgical consult, sometimes that's necessary, right? But I would get a second opinion. I would come in and get that checked out, even by us, and see if we can just provide a little bit of exercise and we get any improvement. That shows us that basically we can help that shoulder along, and we could save you from a surgery, maybe, even if the MRI shows that.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of people I know that had shoulder surgery are out for a long time. That's a season that you're out, and maybe additional seasons, fall, winter, spring sports that you might have to miss. So sometimes it's better to get it better and stay on the field. So Nolan, Blake, thank you so much for all your help today. That's great information. Of course, we're going to post this everywhere. And if you want more information about Midwest Movement, of course, it's MidwestMovementElkhorn.com. They're right over there by Rick's Meats, Ace Hardware, Godfather's there in Elkhorn. Stop in to see Nolan and Whitney and see if they can help you get back on the field, on the court, the ice, whatever it is. So Nolan, Blake, thanks so much for joining us today. We will see you guys next time, okay?
Yep. Thanks for having us on.